Did you know that the wrong color paint could cost you thousands of dollars when you go to sell your house? Putting a fresh coat of paint on your home before you put it on the market is the least expensive improvement and has the highest rate of return. No other improvement or upgrade will help you sell your home faster and for more money. However, choosing the wrong colors or finish could have the exact opposite effect. Not only will it not add value, but it could hurt your value and make it much harder to sell. So in this video, I'm going to go over the best colors you should use, the best finishes, and the mistakes you should avoid when you're painting your home. But before we talk about the colors, I want to dig into a little bit of the psychology of color. Now, as a home seller, this is super important for you to know because colors are not just about the aesthetic. It's also the psychological impact. It affects how someone feels when they first walk into a home. It could make the difference between someone feeling welcome or someone feeling uncomfortable and out of place. But it also affects the buyer's emotional response to a room. It affects their perception of size and warmth and overall appeal. A buyer might feel like the room is a lot smaller because of the colors of the walls, even though it really isn't. Or it might feel like it's not warm enough. If you choose cold colors, cool colors for a room that really should have warm colors, that buyer's not going to have that emotional response to that room, and the emotion is what drives them to make an offer. And as a home seller, this is where you can have a strategic advantage, because by choosing the right colors, you can create that environment that feels warm and inviting, which will draw people in, help the house sell faster, and for more money. So we know buyers react differently to different types of colors. And there's three major groups: the warm colors, cool colors, and neutral colors. And they all affect buyers differently. Now, warm colors typically consist of reds, yellows, and oranges. Now, these colors are known to typically evoke feelings of warmth or energy or positivity, but they are intense colors, so you have to be careful on which rooms you choose to put these colors. Now, red is associated with appetite and conversation, which makes it a great color for the dining room. Now, yellow is a common choice for kitchens because it's bright and uplifting, and it's also very sunny and warm. And orange is actually known to stimulate creativity and enthusiasm, which makes it a great choice for offices or your creative workspace. Now, cool colors such as blues and greens are often associated with relaxation, calmness, tranquility, which makes them a great color for places like the bathroom or the bedrooms. Now, in the bedrooms, soft shades of blue, greens, and purples promote a feeling of relaxation and calm. And in the bathroom, a super popular color is light blue because it brings on a feeling of cleanliness and freshness. And then finally, you have the neutral colors: beige, gray, and white. Your classic get the house ready for home sale colors. These colors are going to be the true workhorses when you're getting your house ready for sale. It creates a blank canvas for the buyer, and it's also going to appeal to the widest audience. Now, the great thing with the neutral colors is you can pair it with an accent color. So for example, in a bedroom, you could do 3 walls of a light gray and have an accent wall of a soft purple color. Enough to give it a pop of color for a buyer, but not have it overwhelming when they walk into the room. The thing to remember when you're picking out your colors is to look at it through the lens of the buyer and the power of the first impression. You'll only have one chance for that first impression as that buyer's walking into the entryway. If you have soft colors that are warm and inviting, that's going to affect the emotions of the buyer. They're going to come into the home and explore that home with that initial impression. And it can also make the house more memorable. After the buyer goes through the showing, they go home and they're reflecting on the walkthrough of the house. They're going to remember the feeling they had, the emotion they had as they walk through. And if you have a bedroom with an accent wall that just works beautifully, they're going to remember that. If it doesn't work and it's overpowering, they're also going to remember that. Now, I just want to take a quick second to say that these colors may not be your favorite colors. They may not be the colors that you want. We're approaching this from the saleability. What can you do to get the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time when you put the house on the market? If you are not planning to sell for 5, 10 years or more, then paint it whatever color you want. Or you may paint it whatever color you want and then paint it again before the house goes on the market. Or you could just put it on the market and deal with whatever comes your way. It's your choice. It's always your choice. However, if you want to sell the house for the highest amount of money in the shortest amount of time, then you choose the colors not for your own benefit, but for the buyer's benefit. Now let's get into neutral colors. Now, neutral colors are the unsung heroes of home staging. It allows you to stage the home and present it in such a way that it appeals to the most number of buyers. But it also allows the buyers a blank canvas with the least amount of friction so that they can envision themselves moving into the home. Now, one of the top neutral colors is going to be the soft grays. Now, soft grays are super popular right now. And one of the reasons is because it balances the modern and the timeless. It gives a sense of sophistication without being cool or uninviting. So you're going to see those mostly in the living room, in the bedrooms, and soft grays are great, especially if you're going to do an accent wall. Just make sure you have the same color palette when you're matching up that accent wall to the soft gray, but it is a popular choice and it does appeal to a lot of buyers. Now, another top neutral color is going to be the warm beiges. Now, warm beiges are a classic, and they're a classic for a reason. They are warm, they're inviting, and they're also very popular in hallways, living rooms, and dining rooms. And then the third top neutral color is going to be the off-whites and the creams. And these are popular because they create a light atmosphere. So if you have a room that has not a lot of natural light, this might be a good choice. Hallways is another great choice. You could also use this as the trim color to offset the soft grays or the beiges on the walls to give you good contrast instead of a stark white trim. It's also great for small rooms. If you have a very small room, an off-white color will make that room feel larger than, say, a darker color or even a soft gray color. Now, on all of these, they all have multiple shades. Case in point, I am trying to pick purple for an accent wall in my bedroom, and this is just a few. I've got about 8 of these cards for different shades of lavender for my bedroom. And the same thing goes with whites and neutral colors. And you want to pay attention to those shades at different times in the day. Now, I would recommend taking a couple of those color samples, whether it be a card that you can cut and tape to the wall. Sometimes the hardware stores will sell small containers of sample paint, but you want to put it on multiple walls and then leave it throughout the day to see how different times of the day affects the color. Different lighting conditions will work for different colors. You might find out that the living room doesn't get as much light as you thought, and that it might be better suited for the beige versus the soft gray. The other thing you want to pay attention to are the undertones. When you go to the paint store and get your paint chips, they'll have the display, and the paint chips will be organized by color and undertone, whether it be warm or cool. And you want to make sure that those undertones match the other paint colors in the room and the decor in the room. So if you have a gray blue that's a cool color and you have a warm beige color for the trim, or maybe the drapes are warm beige, it's not going to look right and it's not going to feel right. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to those undertones. And then you want to make sure that the house as a whole, when you're going room to room, is all in that same color palette, that same undertone. So it's not that you have to paint every room the same, but you want to just make sure that they all flow so that you'll have a natural flow. It'll feel warm, it'll feel inviting throughout the house. Now you might be thinking, Jen, I have no idea what colors I should use or what is popular in my area. And I would say call your real estate agent. Your real estate agent is in tune with what the buyers are looking for, what the buyers are attracted to, and they're also in and out of houses all day long. They see the trends, they see what is popular with the buyers, and they can help you pick the colors that'll put you in the best strategic position. Now, if you have a great agent, fantastic. However, if you don't and you need one, I'm happy to help. Over the last 28 years, I have put together an exclusive list of the top 20% of agents. And I've talked to a lot of agents and a lot of bad agents, and I have weeded them out, and over the years have built this list of the top professional agents in the industry. And I'm happy to connect you with one of those agents. Just click the link down in the description to request an agent, fill out the short form, I'll get back to you, and I'll connect you with one of those great agents. Now, the next thing you want to pay attention to is the paint finish. Now, this is an area that I have seen people go sideways on, and you could have a great color, but if you have the wrong finish, it looks terrible. So it's super important to match the finish with the project. Now, the first finish is going to be matte or flat. Now, this is going to be a very smooth, no shine surface. It is great for hiding imperfections, but it is hard to clean and is not as durable. And this finish is best suited for ceilings. Now, the next finish is eggshell. It has a slight sheen to it. It's a little easier to clean than matte. It's a little bit more durable. This one is great for walls. I highly recommend using the eggshell finish on your walls. Now, a step up from eggshell is going to be satin. A satin finish is going to be even a little bit more durable. It has a little bit more of a sheen, but this is going to be good for kitchens, for bedrooms, maybe kids' rooms, because it's a little bit easier to clean. It's a little bit more durable than, say, the eggshell. Now, a step up from satin is going to be a semi-gloss. A semi-gloss is going to have a slight shine to it. It's going to be even a little bit more durable than satin, a little easier to clean. It's going to be great for doors and door trim, windows and window trim. And what's nice is when you use the semi-gloss trim up against an eggshell wall, it's going to give it a little bit of a pop. And then the last finish is the high gloss. And the high gloss is a mirror-like shine. Very durable and best suited for cabinetry, kitchen cabinets or bathroom cabinets. Now, as you're making your plan with your colors and the undertone and what type of finish you want, there are mistakes that you're going to want to avoid while you're going through that planning process. Now, I mentioned this earlier. If you're not planning to sell, or if you're not planning to sell for the next 4 or 5 years, go ahead and paint whatever colors you like, whatever makes you happy. However, if you are doing this project with the intention of putting the house on the market, you want to make sure that you don't get too personal with your selections. You want to make sure that you still keep that in mind, look at it through the buyer's lens to make sure that you're picking colors that are in line with what is common with the buyers, what is desired by the buyers in your area at the time you put it on the market. Another common mistake is ignoring the impact of lighting. I mentioned this earlier, taking your color swatches, take a piece of painter's tape and taping them on different parts of the room. And then over the next couple days, seeing how the impact of light hits those color swatches. You might have a color that looks a little bit washed out, a little bit dull at certain times of the day, but then at another time of the day, it's overwhelming and intense. So you want to look at that, pay attention to it to make sure that the color works in all parts of the room and at all times of the day. Another mistake you want to avoid is failing to create a cohesive color palette. Now, I talked about this earlier as well, making sure that your colors all coincide, to make sure that your undertones all coincide. You want to look at it as a whole. You want to look at your home not as an individual room apart from each other, but you want to look at the home as a whole and then create a color palette that works and flows throughout the entire home. So you have that same undertones throughout the home. You have that same color palette throughout the home, and that will remove the friction that a buyer might feel when they first walk into the house. And then the last mistake, which is probably the most important mistake that you want to avoid, and that is overlooking the importance of preparation. I cannot stress this enough. You should spend more time on the preparation than you do the painting, because if you have a wall or trim or door that hasn't been properly prepared, cleaned, sanded, imperfections, holes in the walls fixed, the paint will just accentuate that. And a lot of people think that the paint will cover it, when in actuality, it may cover some things, but if you have dents, scratches, old paint, it's going to show through. And taking the time to sand that down. You might even want to replace some of the trim. If you have some trim that has seen better days, you might be better off taking it out and replacing it entirely. But proper preparation is what is going to separate you from a obvious DIY paint job and a professional paint job. And it does make a difference. Now, giving your home a facelift with a fresh coat of paint is a great way to add value as you get your house ready to sell. However, there are updates that you're going to want to avoid because they don't add value. And you're going to want to check out this video here to find out. I'm Jen Sylvester, and I'm here to help you be a savvy home seller.